Naya.
Hey.
Naya Marie in the house. So tonight we're going to be talking about postpartum depression. Welcome everybody. It's your girl Kiana Lewis. Another episode of the Witness Protection Podcast. I got a feeling tonight going to be kind of lit. We got a Naya Marie in the building. They don't tell her what this girl going to say or do. So I apologize in advance. But I did ask her to be herself tonight. I wouldn't have it any other way. We're going to start off with the game Substance. So we're going to pick a card and we're going to discuss the card. We're both going to answer the question. I'm going to let Anaya pick and we're going to go from there. Drum roll.
Any card?
Pick a card. Any card. Can't look at it though.
What? Oh.
Whoa. This is how you know this is God. Have you ever been suicidal?
Like,
have you ever contemplated taking your own life? We're talking about postpartum depression. So with postpartum comes a lot of depression. It comes a lot of anxiety. Thoughts that are not your normal thoughts. In the midst of your postpartum depression, have you ever had any type of suicidal thoughts?
I wouldn't say...
You may not have been serious about it, but it crossed your mind. Have you? Would you like some water?
I have some.
Okay.
There's been times, like, I'd be like, I probably, like, would be better off, like, not here. And, like, you know, that type of stuff. But not like, oh, I'm finna kill myself. Like, no, I'm too scary.
She said I'm too scary. What would put you in that type of mind frame? Like in those moments where you just thought maybe I'm better off not being here. Like what would you be going through in that time frame where you like something like that would cross your mind?
Just feeling alone. Like, oh no, feeling just like you're by yourself. You don't got nobody.
Okay. Have you ever been suicidal? I actually tried to commit suicide when I was 15 years old. Did I ever share that with you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm scary too. So this is what happened. Terry and Dewan, they was young at the time. They was probably about Terrence's age. And they had a little friend across the street. She was a girl, but she used to always come over and want to hang out with me. So I went in, I took a bunch of pills. But then I went and told her, I said, go tell my grandma. Go tell my grandma I took a bunch of pills. So my grandma coming there being Gigi, she gonna say, you damn fool, you ain't trying to kill yourself, you just want some attention. So I ended up getting my stomach pumped. They had to call the ambulance. I had to drink some charcoal because that dissolves the pills. It's like a charcoal drink that they give you. But yeah, I just feeling alone, like you said, feeling like I didn't belong. Just the absence of my mom and all the things she had going on, my dad not being there. I just felt like, why did they bring me here?
Yeah.
To just abandon me.
Yeah.
So I get it. That was good. Welcome. I'm glad you on. I didn't think you was really going to come through.
I wasn't.
But I'm glad that you did. Tonight is going to be a heavy topic. I might get a little emotional just because you my child. And even though we've discussed you having postpartum depression, I really don't think we ever went to the depth of how much you suffered in that darkness. So forgive me if I get a little emotional. I'm not gonna cry. I ain't gonna allow myself to. But when you told me about postpartum, of course I always ask God, like, what scripture is gonna go with my topic tonight? And He led me to Philippians 4, chapter 4, verse 6 through 7, New Living Translation version. It says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication. With thanksgiving, let your requests be known unto God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. That's a good prayer to say anytime you're feeling any type of anxiety or depression, because we know that those thoughts are not thoughts of God. And the Bible tells us to grab a hold of those thoughts and cast them down, put them under subjection So this scripture to me is saying, like, no matter what you're going through, don't let it get the best of you, because God is in control at the end of the day. As long as you're praying and you're showing God gratitude for the things that he's already done, he'll be able to get you through whatever you're going through. So that spoke volumes to me. So introduce yourself to the Witness Protection Podcast and let them know who you are. If you have any social media or you want to drop anything, go ahead and do that.
I'm just Anaya. No social media. That's not clean enough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So postpartum depression. So let's go back to my pride and joy, Ava Marie, because that's how all this came into pass. Mm-hmm. First of all, how old were you? I know all this information, so don't come for me like I don't know my daughter. But how old were you when you got pregnant? When, go back to when you first met Ava's dad and like the age you were at and how fast everything, because I think that played a big part of it.
When I met him, I was 16. I think I turned 17 like 2 weeks later. I was a senior in high school. I graduated, moved out immediately.
How old was he?
When I first met him?
Yeah. Like when y'all got serious.
Oh, then he was 20 and I was 17.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we're 3 years apart. Yeah. I graduated, moved out.
Before your 18th birthday?
Yeah.
Because you graduated in May and you moved out. And your birthday in August.
I moved out August 1st, and my birthday was August 10th, so I was turning 18 in 9 days. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I moved out. Then we were living together. We got engaged when I was 20. When I was 19, I think. Mm-hmm. I got married when I was 20. I found out I was pregnant with Ava when I was still 20. I turned 21. I think a month or two later. I got married a month before I turned 21. Yeah. No, I'm lying. I'm lying. I was definitely 20 when I got married. And I turned 21 after I had her because we went to the beach and I didn't drink because I was breastfeeding.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So kind of give us a rundown on like how everything moves so fast and like this whole, how do you go from being a high school student to a whole wife and a mom before the age of 21?
Just trying to grow fast, I guess. Thinking you can do it. Trying to prove a point to people that really don't care. For real though.
Who was you trying to prove a point to?
I guess you. Because you always be like, you not grown. And I'm like, I'm going to show her I'm grown. I'm not grown.
So, of course, we know Ava is the love of your life.
Yes.
Your twin. Ooh. But in that place, we're talking about pregnancy. So, how was your pregnancy with Ava?
It was rough. It was rough. I think I lost like 30 pounds in the first month. Mm-hmm. I was always sick. I actually hid in the house for 9 months. I did not come out. I didn't want to hang out. I didn't want anyone to see me.
Facts.
My doctor's appointments, I would wear super big clothes. I would go to the doctor and come straight home. I barely came around family. I stayed in the house. And that's when postpartum started, before I had my baby.
And this was during COVID, right? Wasn't it during COVID?
Mm-mm. It was a year after.
A year after COVID. Okay.
Yeah. I got pregnant in 2021. And I had her in 2022.
So I remember you being very protective over Ava.
Yeah.
When you first had her. Even to the point of when you had her, you didn't want people in the delivery room.
Yeah.
You wanted to be very personal and very private.
Yeah.
It was something you really just wanted you and Cameron to... Can I say his name?
Sure.
You and Cameron to share.
Yeah.
So, I should ask you, was it okay to say Ava's name? Because I asked Jaslyn Fabrio. But you were very private. You were very protective.
Yeah.
And I always knew you would be a great mom. but I also see some transitions.
Yeah.
You know, from the time of being pregnant to the time of you having her, and then slowly there was you kind of like, it was like this, and then it was like this.
Yeah.
Like you started to loosen up a lot more. So tell us what was going on after you had her. Now what?
Well, when I was having her in the delivery room, at first I didn't want anybody in there because you can only have 2 people. And I didn't want to make the choice of who can be who, so I just like me and my husband at the time and just be in there. But when everything started to happen in the delivery room, it got real. I wanted my mom. Real bad. Because I pushed for like 3 hours, ended up having a C-section, and I was just like, I thought I was going to die. When they said C-section, I'm like, oof. I'm gonna take me out. Like, no, seriously. I didn't know if I was gonna wake up afterwards because I fell asleep. And then I woke up like 2 hours later, and I'm like, who baby crying in my ear? And they were like, it's yours. And I was like, oh my gosh, I done had a baby when I was asleep. This is crazy. And so, yeah. I think when I had her, I'm like, I don't want her out my eyes. Like, I want to, keep an eye on her. And I think that's where I went wrong. Because, like, I got no sleep. Mm-hmm. And then Cameron had to go to work the following week. And that's when everything went bad. Because I'm like, I'm tired. I need help. But SIDS is so real. Like, I didn't want it to be too cold, too warm. Like, I was watching her sleep and not sleeping.
Wow.
Yeah.
So would you say lack of sleep, like, once you don't get sleep, your mind start playing tricks on you. You can start hallucinating. Lack of sleep can really affect your mental health.
I think it was lack of sleep, the pain that I was in from having a C-section. I remember there was, like, times where, like, he would get home and he would, like, hop on the game. And I would go take a shower, and I would, like, literally hallucinate hearing her scream and cry. But I couldn't, like, get out the shower because, like, I'm in pain, so I'm, like, crying in the shower. Like, it was crazy.
Wow, I never knew that. So, was there ever a time where you were like, okay, I can handle this? Or was it a point where you were like, I need to speak to somebody? Like, I need to maybe put my pride to the side. Or, I need somebody to help me. I need to know, is this normal? Is anybody else feeling like this?
I don't think I really ever spoke on it until, like, everything just went bad and I just distanced myself from everybody. Then I started talking to my doctor about it. But, like, when you're with somebody, they don't understand, Yeah. So it was like, I wasn't talking to him, and that's where we ended. Because it just wasn't there anymore. Mm. But, yeah.
Yeah. So, take us to the point where he went back to work. So, now you have Abel full-time by yourself. So, you're a new mom. You're married.
Yeah.
Barely done graduated from high school. At the time, and I'm just going to throw this in here, she was a track star in high school, so she could have very well went to college and had a full ride if she wanted to.
Yeah.
But she chose to have a family, and there's nothing wrong with that. She chose to have a family.
There's everything wrong with that.
And she put, like, her talents and her opportunities to the side. So, what would you say? Was motherhood a true sacrifice in every way? What aspect of motherhood was a sacrifice for you?
What do you mean?
Like, what do you feel? Not that you lost anything or you missed out on everything, but how did being a mom change some of your opportunities you could have had?
I feel like
and being married.
It changed everything. I feel like that's why I am who I am right now. That's why I'm in the position I'm in, because I did everything so soon. Now I don't want no parts. Like, I just want to be with my kid, but I want to be 22 and go have fun. Being married at 22, can't do that. Like, there's responsibilities, there's certain standards you have to live up to. Like, you can't do a lot of things. Right. Being a mom so young, it's like you really can't do a lot of things. Being a mom and a family, like, a single mom you can do really whatever you want. But being a mom, young and married, there ain't really much you can do. Be in the house with your kid.
Because you gotta really surround yourself with other people who are in
the same boat. Yeah. And all I had was single friends, and so like sometimes they wouldn't invite me. All the time they wouldn't invite me nowhere because they're like, she's married, she's older. We're all the same age, but they feel like I was older because, well, she already got married. Like, we don't want to invite her to single events and she'd be uncomfortable.
So, do you feel like you missed out in a way?
I missed out on everything. I want to go to college. I want the experiences. At first, when I was in high school, I had in my mind, like, college ain't for me. Now that I rush what everyone wants in the end, I wish I didn't.
So you kind of having a Benjamin Button experience where your life has been reversed almost. Like the things that people strive to reach at a later age, after college, after doing all that, then they get married and have a family.
Yeah.
You had that in the beginning, and now you have reverted, and like, I want to be a hot girl summer.
Not much hot girl summer, but a self-love summer, because I didn't know who I was. Being with somebody so young, it's like they build you in their image. So I was whoever Cameron wanted me to be. I didn't know who Anaya was. Having a baby, you change from a little girl to a grown woman. I wasn't the same person from Anaya and Cameron after I had Ava. I welcomed Anaya's new life, and I had to figure out who I was. And that's when postpartum hit, because I'm like, I don't know who I am. I don't know who my daughter is going to be like. I'm proud that this is my mom, you know. I was just like clueless, and I just felt alone.
I know there were times where me and you, our relationship wasn't always the best growing up. Like, we always been close.
Yeah.
Where we, talked about it, but we bumped heads a lot when you were growing up. Do you think that played a part? And I want you to be 100% honest with me, because I can take it. Do you think that played a part of you wanting to grow up so fast? Like, I remember when I was young, I'd be like, I can't wait till I'm 18 to get up out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was definitely the reason for me leaving at 17. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, me getting married and having a baby, it's like I was trying to prove to myself, like, I'm going to be better than what I came from. And, like, yeah.
So let's talk about that, because there's a lot of young ladies out there who, for whatever reason, them and their mom may not have a good relationship. And they're feeling like, for me, I'm the same way. I love my mom. I love my mama. But that has always been my thing. I don't want to be like her.
Yeah.
I want to exceed motherhood that she provided for me. She did the best she could with what she had.
Yeah.
And I understand that now that I'm an adult and I have my own kids and I'm a grandmother. But back then I was like, I don't want to be nothing like her. I felt like she chose herself over me.
Yeah.
She chose herself over my brothers, the things that she wanted, her desires. So what would you say to young girls that have a rocky relationship with their parents? Would you tell them, hey, do you? Or would you tell them, like, hey, take it easy. Like, enjoy your childhood. Enjoy the process. Don't press fast forward. Or
I tell everybody, they'd be like, you were married? I'm like, yeah, don't do it. Not like don't ever get married, but take your time. There's so much in life than just that. And, like, not to knock marriage, but it's just not for everybody. Sometimes I feel like it's more like a contract of somebody owning you more than them loving you and them understanding you.
So, why do you feel like that about marriage? Because we want to get an understanding.
I don't know. I don't think everybody's genuine. Or I think when you do it too young, you don't really have, like, the vision of how to have a good marriage when it ain't been presented to you. So you just winging it and you just doing more damage than good.
So would it be safe to say that it's not so much that marriage isn't for everybody if you don't have the correct picture of a healthy marriage,
Yeah.
then it can cause you to make decisions that will put you in a situation that you don't need to be in when it comes to marriage, or press you into a toxic or just a marriage that's not fit for you.
Yeah.
So we just gonna sidebar this for a little bit, because when we talking about marriage, we know that God's word is true and God exalts marriage. I feel like as people, we're not doing marriage correctly. A lot of us are broken before we ever meet our spouse, and instead of healing from past trauma, whether it be daddy issues, whether it be whatever. For me, it was daddy issues. Plus, I suffered trauma growing up, the loss of your father.
Yeah.
And then me meeting Kevin 2 years later, I was already broken. I wasn't healed from what I came out of. So I kind of went into the relationship with my ex-husband. Like, it was already fit to be sabotaged because, number one, God wasn't in the center of it, and I was broken.
Yeah.
So I believe that marriage is a beautiful thing with the person that God sends. I think the problem is we be picking our own people.
I think in this generation, people are so like used to like toxic behavior. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to properly love anybody. They'll just rather like fight and run on social media than understand. A lot of people be like versus each other instead of us versus the problem. Nobody's like grown enough. Nobody's mature enough. Nobody's really trying to put in the time or the effort to grow for real. And then when you are ready, sometimes it's too late because I done waited all these years for you to get ready, and now I'm over it, and now you ready. It ain't no saving it.
That's good, Anaya. So, the Bible teaches us that husbands, he said, husbands, love your wives. That's in Ephesians. And then it says, and teach the young women to love their husband in Titus. So would you say that the problem with marriage, especially young married couples, is that they don't really know the true meaning of love?
I would say don't nobody know how to love because everybody is so damaged. Mm-hmm. It's like everybody has childhood trauma to where their whole life is consumed by that. I can meet somebody tomorrow and I wouldn't trust them from my past, and they have not did anything to me, but whatever I went through, I'm gonna automatically put it on you. This is what it is. Like, nobody's giving nobody a fair shot. Nobody's knowing how to really love anybody because I've been hurt in the past, so I know you're gonna do me like that, so I'm gonna just give you 25% and just take it or leave it.
Yeah. So it's kind of like we bleed on people that didn't even cut us.
Exactly.
And they suffering the consequences.
Yeah.
And that person could truly be the one that God has sent for you.
And sometimes people come into your life for you to teach them how to love, and they teach you self-love. Like, I taught you what genuine love feel like, and you taught me how to love myself more because you didn't love me enough. And I feel like that's what happened to me. I taught him genuine love. Like, I taught him how to be loved because he was lacking it from his childhood. And he taught me self-love and showed me how to be the woman I am today. And I love myself way more than I ever did the last 5 years.
And Cameron is a great man. Like, I'm so thankful that he's my granddaughter's dad.
But some people just come broken.
Yeah. And I believe he loved you with all his heart, but he couldn't love you the way you desire to be loved.
Yeah, because he didn't know how to love, because he come from a broken family. Mm-hmm. So he was trying to put his family together, and I put him together because he was missing that family. And I showed him what that family is like, but he showed me like how to love myself along the way. Because once you're not getting it, you're gonna have to be like, okay, is it me? And then once you question yourself, you start putting in the work in to figure out who you are.
Yeah.
Now nobody can like ever make me be like, is it me? It's always gonna be you. It's never gonna be me now. Like, I love myself way more to ever doubt myself, because I know what I bring to the table. Mm-hmm. At first I'm like, okay, maybe it's me, maybe I'm lacking, but I'm really putting the time and effort to be genuine towards you. Some people just come broken. Some people just need somebody to heal them, and that's okay.
So did that change you in any way? Did it cause you to change like your perspective on relationship?
Definitely.
How so?
I don't want no parts. Not that I don't want no parts, but right now I really just focus on me and my daughter and teaching her self-love, because it's a dirty world out there. Don't nobody know how to love for real, and you spend 4 years building somebody, healing somebody. I don't want to spend another 4 building somebody, healing somebody, and then another 4 somebody else. Like, come healed if you're trying to be with me, because I didn't hurt you.
Period. Right, that's what I'm feeling like. On prior episodes, I said, if you're not married, you single. So even though I'm talking to somebody, if I don't have a
what? You're talking to somebody?
If I don't have a ring on my finger, I'm still single.
You're talking to somebody?
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm still single regardless if I'm not married.
Do you want to get married again?
Absolutely. I believe I am a wife. I'm not meant to be nobody's girlfriend.
Period.
I bring too much to the table. I'm the kind of woman that can cover a man. I'm talking about spiritually. Like, you know, everything is so superficial now. Like, we go off of looks. Oh, he look good, she look good. Everybody running around with fake bodies and booties. And but can she pray for you? Can he pray for you?
Does she know how to pray?
Does she know how to pray? Does she have a relationship with Christ? Does he have a relationship with Christ? Is he going to be the protector and the provider? Is he following Christ so you can be submissive and follow him? Like, that's my prayer for you. That's my prayer for...
That's crazy that you say that, the protector and the provider, because that's what I would always say. Like, in a marriage, you make a vow. You're supposed to protect. You're supposed to provide. And when you're not feeling that, it's like you're not doing the duties like that you said that you're going to do.
What you signed up for.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And you know, you've been with me from day one. You know that I went through the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it does make you feel some type of way when you're not being protected by the man who said that he would.
Yeah.
Even though he might feel like he is. But when I'm constantly telling you that you're not.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess we just gonna do whatever.
Yeah.
And in my case, I turned to the bottle. I told Kevin, even today, we had a discussion, and I said, even though we were married and we had a marriage certificate with our names on it, I still felt alone.
Yeah.
And the bottle became my friend, the bottle became my husband, the bottle became my confidant.
You could be around a lot of people and feel alone. I could be in a room full of people and I just be sitting there and I'm like, I'm the only one here. Mm-hmm. And that's when it gets bad.
That's when it gets bad.
Yeah.
So maybe that's how the postpartum sinked in. So let's go back into the postpartum. So now Ava's here. You're a fresh mom. You've kind of secluded yourself, right? Because I honestly, as your mom, as her mom, I felt like everything was great. I felt like, per the pictures on, social media, I knew Cameron was a good man. I knew he wasn't going to be abusing you, disrespecting you. I'm like, I was thanking God every day. Like my daughter, oh God, thank you. You came in clutch.
I think it started before though. Postpartum can start before you have a baby. Mm-hmm. And me trapping myself inside for 9 months, it started then.
That's how it started.
Yeah, because I didn't want to be around anybody. I didn't want anybody to see me. I didn't feel comfortable in my skin. I was always sick, and I just wanted to be alone. And then when I had her, I didn't push everybody away. I was too much alone. And Cameron didn't understand me because he's the man.
So did you ever verbally express to him, like, something's not right? Like, something's going on with me?
He would be at work and I would text him and be like, I'm having a bad day, I'm sad, like, when you come home, can you get her?
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. So now Ava's here. You recognize something is not right. And then what? After reaching out, after saying, hey, something's not right, when did you know something was really not right? And when did you be like, hey, what is this?
When I spazzed out on everybody. Yeah. Because it was like one week, I told Cameron, if somebody else says something to me about my kid and you don't come to my defense, you're done. And I'm done. Mm-hmm. And 2 things happened in one day. I went off on everybody, went to Facebook, went on a rampage, and he was done for. And I just left everybody alone. And I just chose me. I stopped fighting for everybody to see like, oh, you know, something's wrong with her. I just was like, I'm going to figure it out on my own. And I left.
So ultimately, how did you said in the beginning that you said like maybe it's better if I wasn't here, and then me and you have had a conversation where you said something similar to the fact where you was like maybe Ava would be better off without me.
Yeah. Really, when maybe like in December of like 2022, when everything was bad, I had moved out and Ava was going back and forth. She was still a baby. She was like 10 months. Mm-hmm. And Cameron is a great dad, by the way. But he loves Ava with everything. Like, he wants to be around her 24/7. And when I was with Ava by myself, she was always crying. I didn't know why she was crying. I was crying. Like, that's when it was really bad. So I'm like, when she's with him, I can think. I can breathe. I know she's okay because he's great. But with me, I'm so anxious, I gotta watch her. Like, and he's always he was making me feel like I didn't know what I was doing because he was always texting me like, is she okay? Did you give her this? Like, you know, because he was used to helping me out so much because he knew I was going through it, but he didn't want to like say it out loud. Mm-hmm. So when I had her by myself, it was like, maybe I'm not put up for this. Maybe like she would be better off with him. Yeah. So there was a time she like stayed with him like every day for like 2 months. And I would just go over there and hang out and I would come back home. And I was like, this is just not the life I want. Because I carried her, you know. I built those fingers and everything. Like, it's just scary being in charge of somebody else's life.
And now that I think about it, when you said that you were crying all the time and she was crying, I actually went through the same thing with your brother, Orion. I remember my grandmother coming in there and I'm thinking she was to help me. And she said, both of y'all shut the hell up and close the door. And I was like I was literally crying because Orion had colic. Yeah. You know what colic is?
Yeah.
So I'm talking about, and me being a young mom, I'm the reason he got colic. Yeah. So I felt bad. He was in so much pain. Me being a mom, not wanting the older people to tell me what to do with my baby. Yeah. Like, y'all can't tell me what to do. They was like, don't bring him out. Hey, keep him covered. We went to a Parks family function at the park. It was somebody's birthday, and Orion was literally a newborn. It's that picture with him, your dad, Roger, and him in the Mickey Mouse blanket. And everybody, of course, wanted to see Orion, so they're lifting this blanket. It's windy. He caught colic. So every day at about 5 o'clock in the evening, he would cry uncontrollably. It was at the point where nobody wanted to watch him. And I was literally, like, with him by myself. Like, yeah. And I just felt like, oh, my God, what have I done? Yeah. Like, I'm not equipped for this. Yeah. Like, maybe I made the wrong choice, and people, they be like, what? But me and your dad planned Orion. Right. Because he was in a broken place. He felt like he wasn't really loved in the household he was in. He was a biracial man, boy at the time, 18 years old. But he had grew up in a biracial household where all his brothers and sisters was white and he was the only black thing in the house. Yeah. So he felt some type of way. He felt like he didn't fit in. He felt like, and even though Nana loved him, you know, Nana would do everything for him still, but he felt like you know, I don't belong here. And I always felt like me growing up, like I had the worst childhood with my mom and dad not being there. So it was like we both were searching for something to call our own.
Yeah.
And we planned Orion like crazy people.
A baby don't keep no man or no woman.
Ooh. Speak on that. You can't be dropping jewels like that.
I'm just saying, a baby don't keep a family. I'll have a baby by you and leave you.
You're savage.
You got a baby by me and leave me. Like, it just don't work out. You can hope for a family, but that's not always the plan. When I had Ava, I'm like, okay, I'm married, I got the family. You have the family, and then things start to fall.
The picture of a family.
Yeah, and it's not for everybody.
So in your deepest, darkest moment, how did you crawl out that hole? Because that's a pit.
I'm not gonna lie, my friends, me and Asia both became like single at the same time. Gavin left her, moved to West Texas, 8 hours away. She had a 4-month-old baby. I had a 10-month-old baby, and we roommated. And every day we would cry in the same bed and sleep with our kids every day.
And went to high school together. Was on the same track team. Went to state. What? 2 years? 3 years?
3 years, 4 years, because we did summer track together too.
Basketball.
Yep.
Like they both had so many opportunities.
Yep. So we were together every single day for months.
Crazy self too.
Yep. Every day for months. And I got a job at the daycare. I got Ava in daycare. I told her to come up there, and we're still together every day. Mm-hmm. And we literally got each other out. There would be times like she was at work and she would text me like paragraphs like, "You are so important, you are so loved." Like, she just could tell I was having a bad day without even seeing me. Like, she just knew.
So why, maybe this is a mom question, why did you never feel the need to come to your family and be like, I need help?
I had that in my mind, like, you already alone, like, just figure it out. Figure it out. And I was figuring it out, but eventually I'm just like, you can't do it all by yourself. It literally takes a village to raise a child. Like, now everything is so much easier. I can drop Ava off to you and just be fine. Know
that she's okay.
Yeah. It's Cameron's dad, Cameron's mom. Like, at first, I'm like, my baby not going nowhere.
It was so annoying.
Now, Ava goes everywhere. Ava loves all of her grandparents. Ava will Gammy in a minute, Papa, Yaya in a minute.
Granny.
Yeah, everybody. She just loves literally everybody. She feels comfortable with everybody. But I think what scared me was, remember when Ava was like fresh born, we had did that kickball for Easter. And I let her go with Cameron's dad and stepmom. And remember they called and they were like, we don't know what's wrong with her. She's screaming. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Like, what? So I got there and she was still screaming. Like, she wouldn't even calm down. And I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with her. And after that, I'm like, she's not going nowhere. Until I know, like, she'll be able to talk, let me know what's going on. Now she talks too much and she lies. Yeah.
Mama.
Yep.
She a mess.
But that's when it started. After I let her go, and they were 2 minutes up the road.
They were.
I like did 80 all the way to there.
Yeah. I was like, we're not. They was like, she went to go get Ava.
I surely did. And it was so scary. Like, I couldn't get her to be quiet. Jerica couldn't get her to be quiet. You remember Cameron stayed behind, and he came. He couldn't get her to be quiet. Like, we didn't know what was wrong. I was gonna take her to the hospital. I thought something happened. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And after that, I'm like, nah. I'm be with her every day. And then I was breastfeeding, so I'm like, really, she had to be with me all the time.
Right.
Because I could pump and like send milk, but
it wasn't the same. When you breastfeed, that's a connection between you and your child. And I never breastfed any of y'all.
Yes, and we were always together. Like, even throughout the night when I wouldn't sleep, I would know in 2 hours she's gonna wake up and want some milk. So let me just stay right here.
And you was slanging breast milk. You was sharing it with
my friends. Yep.
Because they weren't producing enough milk. That's funny.
Yep.
So let's talk about your upbringing a little bit, because I believe that's what, I know you said your friends brought you out, but ultimately, I'm gonna say God did it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your relationship with God, like even at a young age. Like, how did that play a part in you being able to put those thoughts under subjection of the depression and making a decision to choose yourself? Like,
I feel like I always grew up in church. I used to dance. Always was involved. But it's like I have a relationship with God, but sometimes I just be like, it's just me. And I forget that he's there and he's always listening. So when everything was going on, I was mad at everybody. I was mad at him because I'm like, why would you put me in a position to have it all, have what everybody wants, and for it to go all wrong?
mm-hmm.
I never would have thought me and Cameron would go through anything that we went through, because everybody knew me and Cameron. Like, it just seemed perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but it just wasn't. So I was mad. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm just like, why? And I know you're never supposed to question him, but that's all I was doing. Like, why would you do that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want a child at an early age. Why would you give me a child for me to be having to split my time with her,
Yeah.
But I had got baptized a year before I had her.
Rebaptized, because you
Yeah,
rebaptized.
I had got rebaptized a year before I had her. And I was going to church. When I had her, I hadn't been to church. But what is it? The little Bible app send you like verses of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So when Asia would be sending me paragraphs, she would add like a verse of the day. And I'll just be like, okay. And then one time, me and Cameron got into it like really bad, and I'm just like, really, really bad. And I was like, I'm just alone. I don't have anybody. It's just me. And I just broke down crying. And I could just hear him talking to me.
Who?
God.
Oh.
And I'm just like, eventually you're going to have to put your big girl panties on and get up. It's like I didn't want to get up. I was just soaking in the depression. Like, I was okay with it. And then I heard him tell me get up. And then I just got up, got me a job, and started surrounding myself with people that was encouraging me to be better, than other than like, you deserve so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. How am I gonna get there?
Right. Girl, if I was you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I just changed my environment basically.
Change your environment.
Yeah.
So, because you did grow up in church and you definitely know God, and God has anointed you, you've always been under his protection, his witness protection, because you've been witnessing for God ever since you've been a child. Like, when people come to church, they may not understand what the pastor is saying. But I've seen people, you was 10, 11 years old, you're dancing and there's grown people in there breaking down crying.
Yeah.
How did your relationship with God change? Because me as your mom, I seen the transformation to where you was like, it seemed like you didn't really want nothing to do with God.
I think when Maya died, it was another like, why would you do that?
Yeah. So, would you say life lessons caused your faith to be tested?
Yeah. Because they always say, like, he'll never put more on you than you can bear. But, like, who want to bear that? Like, at a young age.
Yeah. And Maya was her cousin. Yeah. Y'all was young. What, 10 years old?
Yeah. Like, what was that for? After that, I just didn't want no parts. I felt like you took something from me, so I'm gonna take me from you.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this gift that you gave me,
I'm not gonna use it.
I'm not gonna use it.
Yeah.
I'm not working for you no more.
Yeah. Because why would you take something that, I shared it with? I wasn't okay with it, so I was like, you took it from me. I'm not gonna serve you. and I didn't understand at the time, and that's why I just stopped being so outgoing, more closed. I stopped coming around Sister Womack and Brother Womack because I just couldn't bear the thought like me there and she's not.
And you used to be with them all the
time.
Is it still hard for you when you see Alma and Kurt?
It's better now. Like, I can sit and have a conversation with them. I'll go over there. But before, I was never going back.
Gangsta Boo. I remember Alma gave you that name, Gangsta Boo.
Yep.
And you lived up to that name, but you still do.
Yeah.
Would you say it changed your attitude? Because you are a handful at times.
Yeah.
You say what's on your mind. You have no filter, and you gonna give it.
Yeah, definitely.
The Bible talks about how the tongue is like
a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yours is an assault rifle.
Yeah. I'm working on that. I'm definitely working on that.
God working on you.
He definitely is, because certain situations I would respond differently. Now I just like look at people and I just be like, you've been saved. Because the old me would have tore you up.
I would have cut your throat. Verbally.
Literally.
The jugular.
Literally. Now I just be like, it's all good.
You would have watched her bleed out.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's my child for real. I used to be the same way. That's the best. So, had Ava, went through the postpartum. You understand that you've had some trauma in your life. You got out of it. You changed your surroundings.
Yeah.
Where is your relationship with God right now?
It's way better. Like, I go to church every Sunday. I feel like I just surrendered my life to Him. Like, whatever you want me to do, however you see fit, I'm going to let you do that. Because at first, I was trying to take control of my life. Mm-hmm. Like, no one's going to put me in a dark place. No one's going to mistreat me. I'm going to show everybody. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to show everybody by being obedient. I'm not going to cuss at you. I'm not going to argue with you. You got it. Karma comes back around, and God going to handle you because I'm giving it to Him.
Right.
I'm not even giving attention. So now I'm more obedient. I put my time into Him, and I'm doing whatever He wants me to do.
And of course, we are all under... we're all under work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, He's constantly working on us. He's constantly...
Yeah, I ain't all the way there.
Trying to perfect us. Don't test me.
Don't.
Play with
Some people can get it.
Try Jesus, don't try me. And I've seen you in every area of your life.
Yeah.
So I have seen some changes.
Yeah.
And there is some places that I'm still like, Lord, help her.
Yeah.
But he gonna get the glory out your life. I just want to refer to Psalm 70. Not Psalms. Why did I just say that? Psalms 34. The scripture talks about depression. It says, the Lord hears His people when they call to Him for help. He rescues them from all of their troubles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed. So, was there ever a time where you said, God, I can't do this no more? Like, I need your help. And you recognized that you needed it. Like, it wasn't what people were saying. Was there ever a point after the postpartum depression? First of all, are you still in this?
I don't think it ever fully goes away. Because sometimes I'll just wake up sad. I don't know why I'm sad, but I recognize it. And I'm like, I'm going to take control of it before it control me. I'm going to find a reason to smile today instead of just hiding under the covers, you know?
Yeah. So, was there ever a time where you was like, okay, God, I need you to step in. Like, this is too heavy for me.
Yeah, I think when I had let Ava just be with Cameron for that little bit. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this ain't what I want, you know? I want to figure it out the correct way.
Yeah. So, how is motherhood for you now?
It's great. A lot of people say, like, having a kid is a lot, but it's really not. Like, you can't just always get up and go. But with a village, it's very easy.
Yeah.
Very easy. And sometimes she stressed me out because she is so much like me. Like, it's crazy. But it's great.
Would you change anything?
Maybe, like, how soon I had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
But
I know you wouldn't trade her for the world.
never.
So do you want more kids?
At first, I didn't. Now I do.
Really?
Mhm.
You went from I don't want no more kids to I'm supposed to have a son.
Yeah.
And then you had to name it everything.
Yeah.
And then it was like, another kid, what?
Yeah.
So now you like, it's a possibility.
In the future, yes.
Okay. So what do you feel that God was trying to teach you in that? Because in this whole postpartum thing, because God allows things to happen. You know what I mean? Even though the enemy was playing with your mind and he got you feeling anxiety and he got you feeling, the enemy cannot do anything that God doesn't permit him to do. So what do you feel was the lesson? Because that's where I am right now. Even through losing your dad, even in the divorce, even in the betrayal, the heartache, the pain, it's like, okay, God, I went through all that, but what was it for?
I think my purpose was that he wanted me to lean on him and stop just leaning on myself. I thought I could do it by myself. Doing it by myself is going to take a lot longer than doing it with him.
And what made you come to that conclusion? Because you know scripture, you've heard that before. Lean not unto your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path.
Because once I gave it to him, everything started to click. I started to be like, this is not for me, this is for me.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm going to do. This is my next step. I became much more happier within myself after I just leaned on to him.
So, I'm supposed to just take it back because I feel like you need to discuss this. Before the postpartum, before Ava, before Cameron came into your life, all of this, I feel like as your mom, I've watched you grow up. I feel like there's always been this wall you've had up towards people.
Yeah.
Like you'll let somebody get a little close, but not too close.
Yeah.
Don't touch me.
Yeah.
Don't hug me. Don't do any of that. Do you think that your dad not being here affected you, even though Kevin was in your life?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Because it didn't feel like I was really missing anything other than like the connection with his family. They weird. Not my grandpa or my grandma, but everybody else is.
Okay. So with the whole situation, which we all went through, because as you was going through postpartum depression, I was going through a divorce.
Yeah.
So would you say the reason that did you feel like you couldn't trust me with what you were going through, or did you feel like she already got too much going on and I'm not gonna bother?
I feel like me just knowing how our relationship is, I always feel like I had to always lean on myself and not on you, because I feel like growing up, you would always try to save everybody else, and you would not see when like I was hurting. Like you would always be there for like everybody else's kid, take everybody else's kid in, but like your kids was hurting because you're trying to be saving everybody but not us, you know?
Yeah.
So like it was like we was lacking. So when I became a mother, I'm like, I'm gonna always put Ava first. When Ava come to me, I'm gonna listen, because that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was pregnant and I was like, me and you were into it, and I told you, I'm not gonna be like you, I'm gonna be better than you. And you were like, you gonna be better than me? And I said, yeah, I'm gonna show my kid real love.
Yep.
And that hurt your feelings because you was like, what do you mean? And I just feel like growing up, I know you loved me because we were close. But when it was bad, it was bad.
It was horrible.
Because it's just like, pick us, not everybody else.
Yeah.
We're here when they're not. Ain't nobody else here. It's just us kids now.
Yep.
But everybody that you put in front of us is no longer here. And we're the last one standing. And that's what I wanted you to see from the jump. So when you were going through your dark time, I'm like, and I'm going through mine, I already had, well, Naya, you chose to leave. You chose to grow up fast. You chose to do it by yourself. Do it by yourself. Show your mom that you can come out by yourself, so she come out by herself. And it's like, I was here for you as much as I can up front, but when it got too much for me and I started going through it, I became here for you, but just in the back end. Mm-hmm. But I was always rooting for you, but I was never going to put my load on top of you because I always wanted you to come out first and then worry about myself later.
And that's being a mother could be so hard. Even Jasmine, she did a pod with me last night, and we were talking about how motherhood doesn't come with an instruction book.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we're only given what we were given.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we have a decision and the opportunity to be like, I'm going to do better than they did.
Yeah.
And try to make it. And the whole time, I had to do some self-evaluation in my healing process with the divorce, and I had to see how the decisions I made affected y'all, especially you and Orion, because of what happened with y'all dad. Here I am, I done met this man, and I done brought this man into your life.
Yeah.
Y'all life. Y'all had no choice,
Yeah.
Thank God Kevin wasn't an abuser or, mentally or physically or emotionally abusive to any of us. But it was just the decisions that I made. You know what I mean? And like you said, I was always there for everybody else's kids. The whole time I'm thinking I'm doing a good service.
Yeah.
Because I see these kids, they don't have no mama at all. They no stability. They here, they there. They from this state to this state to this state. And the very people that I ultimately put before my own children at times was the same people who burned me.
Yeah.
So that's hurtful. It's hurtful, but it's healing at the same time for you to be able to express that to me, because I know that's not how you feel. That's reality. Yeah. That's what went on. And from the bottom of my heart, publicly, I want to apologize to you for that. That was never my intent, because I'll go to prison right now if I had to for you. But we have to be mindful as mothers that our kids come first.
Yeah, and I think that's where the whole is, I need to prove myself to you. Because I feel like I was hurting. Becoming a mother is scary. Like, you don't know what you're doing,
And I was so hurt when you was pregnant with Ava, because we was bumping heads the whole time you was pregnant. Yeah. Even at the baby shower, I felt like you didn't want me there. Yeah. Couldn't be there when she was born because you and Cameron wanted to do it on y'all. I just felt so disconnected from you while you were pregnant, and I think that's why I did not recognize how you had slipped into this postpartum depression. Yeah. Because that stuff is real. Yeah. There has been women who have committed suicide, really, because of that. Yeah. There has been women who has drowned their children because they said they heard voices telling them, protect them. Yeah. Because they felt they weren't good enough. They weren't meeting the mark of being a good mom. Yeah. So I just thank God. I give him glory for protecting your mind. Yeah. And bringing you out of that, and bringing people into your life that could encourage you and help you get out of that, even though that he didn't use me to do that.
Yep. And I also want to say, there would be plenty of nights my grandpa would answer the phone, and we would sit on the phone for hours, and I could just cry and he'd just be listening. Wow. Yep. And he's done that since 2018, literally. And I could call him right now, he'll just listen. And he don't ever judge, he don't ever tell somebody what I said, he just listens.
Phenomenal man.
Yeah.
Phenomenal man.
Yeah.
I love Big Alvin.
Yeah.
So, if you could talk to little Anaya, that inner young girl in you, because we all have it, no matter how old we are as women.
Yeah.
There's that little girl inside of us. What would you say to her?
It's all gonna be okay. Because I think she's lost. Like, she don't know what's for her. She don't know who's for her. She don't know what her purpose is. But I think being with Ava, she heals little Anaya every day. Just seeing her smile, seeing her laugh, seeing her like just experience happiness with both parents just makes me feel like you're doing the job.
You're doing a phenomenal
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. And I always say, like, kids can get love, the love that they need, separate homes. You don't always need to stay together for a kid, because then they feel the fake love.
Mm-hmm.
She feels both love. She come here, she don't feel no sad ways. She loves it.
Mm-hmm.
She goes there, loves it. She don't feel no emptiness in her life.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. Because at first, that was my main thing. Like, do I choose myself, or do I stick it out for her? And I had to choose myself, love myself, so I could teach her, put you first.
Yeah.
And everything will come together.
So, right now, you are how old for the camera?
22.
She's 22. How have you grown as a woman?
I feel like I'm wiser. I feel like I'm still hot-headed at times, but something can make me mad, and I wouldn't let it consume my whole day like it normally would.
Yeah.
It would just brush off my shoulder. Maybe I'll be like in my head, I'm gonna get you back. Maybe not today, maybe in a couple years, but I'm gonna always remember.
Right.
But I don't let it consume me. I don't worry about how people feel about me. I don't care how people feel about me. I don't try to be anybody for nobody but myself.
So I hear you saying I'm not where I'm gonna be, but I'm not where I used to be.
Yeah. I'm definitely working on myself every day.
Well, as your mom, I want to tell you that I am proud of you. I'm proud of the woman that you are becoming. I'm proud of the woman that you are going to be, because I know the greatness you have inside of you. And me and your brother and me and family, we talk about it all the time, because everybody know or not. Everybody know,
Yeah.
But I say it's her journey.
Yeah.
She got to live it. All we can do is love her in spite of, no matter what. Pray for her, because we all been there, right? So my prayer for you is that you continue to grow, that you keep God first no matter what, that God gives you the discernment of the people that you need to be intertwined with, and that you always put Him first. And with you putting Him first, Ava will always have what she needs.
Yeah.
The Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all other things will be added unto you. The reason sometimes we don't have what we desire is because we're not putting God first.
Yeah.
We want to do us. We don't want to put away our childish ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, just know that you are never alone. And I don't care what you go through. I don't care if what you do in life. You always gonna have your family.
Yeah.
Even when you don't want us, we still gonna be here. We still gonna be here. So, one last thing, what would you say to the young ladies? You're a 22-year-old mom. You've conquered postpartum depression. What would you say to a woman your age?
Just breathe. Like, take it step by step. Soak everything in, and you don't have to do it alone.
Well, y'all heard it. This was a great episode. I knew I was gonna cry. Golly. But I'm so glad I had you on tonight. This is not gonna be her last one, because we already discussed the next one. The next one gonna be
juicy.
It's gonna be tea. But I hope and pray that something was said that will help somebody. It's not easy sharing your scars. But the Bible tells us that we are overcomers by the words of our testimony. We go through these things, it's not for us. It's always for somebody else.
When you have a baby, they don't tell you about postpartum.
They don't.
Like after you have a baby, they'll be like, oh, there may be signs of postpartum. What is postpartum?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
When I was going through it, I remember Cameron asking me, like, what is postpartum? I'm like, it's a battle between you and your mental.
Mm-hmm.
Am I good enough? Do I feel comfortable with my skin? Like, you're never going to know because you're not a woman.
Your body is changing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. But you made it.
Yep.
To God be the glory. I pray that something was said, like I said. Don't give up. If you are battling postpartum depression, talk to somebody. Do not close down. Do not isolate. An idle mind is the devil's playground. Like, he wants to isolate you. He wants to make you feel like you don't have nobody. He wants to make you question God. So at the end of the day, if you need help, if you feel like something is not right, there is a village. It might not be your family, but God will put people in your path that will help you.
Yeah.
And that you can get help from. So pray everything is good on y'all end. It's good on our end. Tune in for the next episode. Anaya Marie. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to the Witness Protection podcast. We out. Peace.